We're live. Awesome. Are you gonna edit in some like intro music and post and stuff?
No, I don't think I'm gonna edit these at all, just because it takes a lot of time, and
Then you capture true raw journalism without any editing, right?
yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe one day I'll like take the time and learn the software, but for now I don't know, enjoy the recording.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for taking the time to do this. I've been looking forward to it.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. You look good.
Thank you.
I got a little intro, like to start off with. All right. Our guest today is, among many things, a chemist 3 by day and children's book illustrator by night. He is the prodigal son who is getting married in April 2026, which we're all very excited about. Yeah,
Prodigal son has returned.
In Maui.
In Maui.
He is the second or third favorite grandson and is a Hyrule pleb in Super Smash Bros. He is the first but not least member of the highly sought after Boboys group. He's one of the funniest, most genuine people I've ever met, and just so happens to be my cousin and best friend, Vincent O'Brien.
That's a very nice intro.
Yeah, that's kicking things off. Apparently you're a podcast pro. We can talk about that in a bit. But the question I've been asking people starting these off, and I don't know, it might change just because like this podcast is ever evolving, and I don't know where this is gonna go. But
yeah,
I'd like to know like what's a value or belief that you believe to your core that you think like truly encapsulates your essence and who you are.
Cool. I like that the question is about a belief. So I'll preface by saying that this isn't something that I'm the best at or actually even really good at. But what first came to mind when I read that question that you so kindly, gave me a little heads up that was kind of going to be at least one of the topics was that I believe one should always seek to improve themselves. That's a belief. So I'm not the best at that, but it's something that I always strive for, to just always be better. So that's kind of 1A answer. 1B is I truly believe, it's going to sound completely separate, but I'll try and connect the two. I truly believe that there are intrinsically good things in the world, right? Like, so like, you can get bogged down in the philosophy of like, oh, what's good, who decides what's good, like, oh, if you gotta trust your gut, everyone knows like, oh, murder's bad, this and that. Anyway, I think there are intrinsic goods. So you mentioned chemist by day. I think in general a pursuit of science is always I always thought was something that I could offer the world. Is like, if I'm working for like a private corporation that's making a product, blah blah blah, that advancing our knowledge of our world, our universe, whatever, and what makes it up is intrinsically good. I mean, there's probably bad ways to acquire information, whether it be like doing experiments on unknowing people or something, but I just mean in general, like I get to feel like I'm doing good just by like always trying to contribute to science. And I think the next big thing, or to connect the two, I think one good way to better yourself is to try and help like the earth itself, like try and be a net positive by the end of your life. I don't think it's actually possible as a human being, but to be like a net positive on the environment, to give that back to our nephews and grandnephews and all the next generations and whatnot. So the final part, I guess part C to the question, that where it gets a little messier, is a lot of the improvement that I've been trying to focus on later in life involves relationships and trying to be. I'm so loved in my family, but I try to be more self-aware as an improvement, right? And try and understand where I fit in, like in my relationships, whether it's family, friends, dynamics, and then even as loved as I feel and comfortable as I am, and I try and zoom out and think, whoa, wait a minute, could I be offering more to the people that give me so much? And I'm talking way too much already. I know I'm just ranting, but I think the last thing that's been really helpful for me is finding someone that challenges you to like not become complacent. Like my fiance, Megan. Shouts out to Megan. Shouts out. Honorary July guy. She knows how excited I get. Like, we're here, Christmas sweater, we're here celebrating the holidays, and like I said, I feel so loved when I come home, but Megan has helped me realize that, like, some of the things that I really like about myself can also have a negative impact on the people that I love. Like, sometimes my personality, without, of course, trying to, I never purposely do this, can be a little overpowering, and I don't want to take away from a room full of people that all have stuff to say. Bad example as I sit here and talk for 20 minutes straight. But anyway, the only problem with my belief system here that I've laid out is that I do also have this belief that humans are kind of like a parasite, like as a race, but
as a race,
or it's like a species. Excuse me. We're parasitic on the earth, but so I want to help the earth, but also I want to improve my human to human relationships. So the only contradiction there is that I think people might generally be bad for the earth, but that's it. I digress. Yeah. So
okay, so you gave me a lot here.
Yeah, it's a bit too much probably. I go in a few circles. That was not as concise as I thought.
No, I could see the cohesiveness of all the ideas. I think they're really interesting, and they do truly encapsulate your essence, and I appreciate you sharing. I'm gonna backtrack and sort of dissect each of these parts. I think the first thing you said was that you you have this goal for self-improvement. And you mentioned science. Like that's like something you've clung to in that pursuit of self-improvement. So I want to like ask you, like, where does this like goal for self-improvement come from? Like, why is that important to you? And how do you like foresee yourself or envision yourself like improving yourself in this landscape of the world and society at large?
Good question. First I'll say that, you included, and my beloved fiance, my brother, everyone's been reading a lot lately, and reading some dense, heavy stuff. And I think just even on the car ride over here, we were talking about like absurdism as a philosophy and nihilism, this and that. So anyway, I think it's almost impossible I don't know much about philosophy. I don't know which one this falls under, but I think it's almost impossible to actually know what the meaning of any given life is, like your own, or maybe even like, again, humanity as a whole. But what else is there, I guess, other than trying to be better than you were the day before? Like that's comes back to like the intrinsic good thing. So like I as long, like, what more can you do other than try and be better, and then better in a way that either makes you, I guess, happier in a healthy way, not maybe like a hedonistic way, but or can help other people. And then from a standpoint of like science, that just, I just think that like if you are a money trader or something, or like you work for a big bank or something like that. I mean, a job's a job. Don't get me wrong. We all have to work, but I just mean power to you. But in my mind, I would find it hard and muddied to like find the intrinsic good in something that purely only helps or props up our current like society, basically. Like if the world were to end, quote unquote, like if there's some sort of apocalyptic event, I like to be doing something that would still have value. So like if there were no more, of course there's soft skills that come with that job, but yeah, if there was no more like stock market, like poof, but if society as we know it shut down, having knowledge about physical sciences is something that always keeps us separate from the other poor scrambling animals stuck out in the nuclear ashfall or whatever it may be. So that's, I just feel like is intrinsically valuable, maybe not necessarily good, but I like to belong to a field that I feel like regardless of what like your nation that you live in is doing, or like international society is doing, that is like important in and of itself. That's how I feel about science in general. As far as like what I do for work, I think that's actually a better example of like the whole self-improvement part is, I might be chemist 3, but I feel fraudulent all the time. I feel like maybe I'm more of a chem 1 kind of guy. So I just try and not be complacent and just always trying to learn more. Even if I could get by my job with what I already know, I want to try and just learn more. And it's nice to be able to do it on the company dollar. So I make glue right now, but if you read about polymer chemistry, that has to do with glue, but could also be applied to other science. So I'll just try and read up on polymer chemistry, that sort of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to go back to part B.
Mm-hmm.
The because, well, first of all, I want to say like I agree with like the pursuit to self-improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes it's like really, I don't know. Personally, I could fall into like a nihilistic trap of just like not seeing like the point of doing, like, if I don't know, if life has no meaning,
Right.
like what's the point of doing anything?
Yeah.
Ever.
No, for real.
But like one thing that I have found with like the self-improvement aspect is or goal is to, it's like one of the few things that's like in your control. And I don't know, there's like something comforting in that pursuit because it's in your control when like there's just so much that's out. But you said something interesting about the goodness, that your perceived goodness, which I thought was interesting because and I think you even alluded to this, but like you could make an argument that like nothing's good or bad, it's just like the way nature is. It's just like humans have like a
This is like the
perceived,
morality, like
yeah. I don't know. I just want you to elaborate on like what you believe is the inherent goodness in
Gotcha.
people or yourself or like nature, whatever. However you want to answer that.
Yeah, I think it's that one thing where it's it's little background noise there. it's it's no one can prove at the corest of concepts, like the things that like laws are built upon, like the don't murder example, but there's just a few things at the deepest of their core that like 99.999% of people, if you sat them down, were able to like erase their memories and just ask like, is this good or bad? Like those very core things where it's like there's nothing, there's no way to prove without like like religion or things that are put in place to, you know, try and make you think a certain way. There's no way to prove that anything is right or wrong, right? You just, it's the deepest, simplest, like, okay, murdering people is bad, right? Like we can all agree on that. So I'm trying to find those things that are good, not necessarily because a law says that's the way it is or this. It's just like gut feeling, like because you have nothing else to go on, but like where any given person, their gut feeling would be like, oh, that's a good thing. Like, does that make sense? Like,
It does. It's something I thought of when you were saying that is like looking at a honeycomb or a spider web.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think things that are made in nature are objectively beautiful, and like the process, and you know, like anyone could look at it and it's like, wow, that's.
Yeah.
I think that's like a universal truth, honestly.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes from nature, right? That's why I'm so, at the end of the day, pro maybe even protecting that over humanity as a whole. Like we can't put any of this beauty at risk, right? Because everything that we do comes with some sort of underlying motive, even if it's what we've just been talking about, like, oh, I think I'm doing the right thing, so I'm going to do this, but whatever the driving forces of nature are, those things happen or exist with some other like non-premeditated driving force, you know. So though they must be intrinsically good, then you get down the rabbit hole of like, you know, 100% parasitic lifestyle, like organisms and viruses and diseases. So like, oh, how could that be good? But that's an argument for another day. Like I'm with you. Like that's a lot of the things that I think are like objectively good are, like you said, just like things that everyone more or less can look at and just like appreciate, and it happens by some natural phenomenon, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. We're running this at in my parents' den. There's a lot of background commotion. I'm trying to lock in here. I also couldn't really sleep last night. I had Anthony on yesterday afternoon, and when in Rome, he loves a good espresso shot, and I was like, yeah, I'm down for that, and I just
jacked up your sleep. Yeah, because I know you like tea a lot. You don't do coffee too often, huh? So espresso will just bam.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you already? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say. So this is your second episode 2, right? So far.
Episode number 3. I did one on Zoom on Friday with one of my friends.
Nice. Has anyone asked you already? So I don't want to make you do the same thing in all 3, but have you answered the question about a core belief yet?
Yeah, no one's asked me yet.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear yours. Do you mind if I check one text message real quick?
Yeah.
I should have blacked this out. Oh, nice. I was nervous. I also am trying to lock in, and I got 2 text messages. The first one just said Vincent from my beloved fiance, and when I just get a text that is nothing but my first full name, I go, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Oh boy, I forgot something. Or I got locked her out of the house before I left the game. I don't know. I'm like, shit. And then the next message to come through was a box of Palms at Costco for only $5. So we're good. We're excited. So good. Sorry to interrupt for that. Now I can lock in.
Yeah, we're locked in.
I love you, Megan. That is hilarious. It's like I was heavily distracted. Just thought it was an emergency, but I guess it is. $5 box of Palms at Costco. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brennan, what
Amazon guy?
Amazon guy. Hi, guy.
Hey, guy. Yeah, no one's asked me any questions really. I've interviewed 2 egomaniacs, I guess.
Yeah, no, I feel like I've already blabbed way too much. Like I kind of out of nervousness. I know I already talked too much. That's one of the things I'm actually supposed to work on. Is I self-awareness is self-improvement too, right? I used to tout myself so much of like, oh, like how do people just like, you see someone walking with a big smile, like, oh, do they just hear like Looney Tunes music in their head or whatever? Like how, I don't know. I feel like I'm so self-aware, but then again, you need someone to challenge you to zoom yourself out. And my beloved has like, hey, when you go hang out with your family, sometimes you don't shut up for like an hour. Like maybe let like your super cool and intelligent cousins and your in-laws and stuff, maybe give them a second. So please.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a format for you to talk. So this is like, if you get one opportunity to let loose,
I've been bottling this in.
Yeah.
No, I'm nervous blabbing. So I probably am pretty incoherent with what I'm saying. It's probably in a lot of circles.
No, all good. What is it?
Your core belief.
My core belief.
Something that makes you is kind of what I got from it, right? Like something, one of your core beliefs, which you might have a big set of, but one that also like lends to who you are. So you could believe that like the earth is flat, but you might not be like a flat earther guy. It's not your thing. It's just a belief. So a belief that actually tells what kind of guy you is.
I actually haven't thought of an answer for this, but the first thing that came to my mind is authenticity. Something that I really want to like have like as a guiding light in my life is I want to be around people who I feel are authentic, who are themselves, who are honest. I want to be more as authentic as I possibly can, like even if it's scary. To like reveal some part of yourself. Cause I don't know, like, the past like couple years I've like realized how much of a people pleaser I am, which is like really reframed how my identity, who I am, which is like part of the reason why I like want to start this and like talk to people about this stuff. Cause like I was like late 20s and I'm realizing like how much I do to please other people, which is like beg the question for me is like what do I want? What do I value? What do I want to discover in this like very short time that we're given? So like I'd say like authenticity and truth are like two like guiding themes I want to like live by for the rest of my life, and just like try to be as true to myself and other people as I can.
I think that's like an intrinsic good, authenticity, right? Like that's a gut, like you on paper you can't like prove it, but that's what I'm talking about. That's one of those things where it's like, yes, that at its core is like objectively a good thing, is being authentic. The only people pleasing is the perfect example, or you could even say to a lesser degree, like I'm sure people pleasing, it's people that you do love in your life, and that's why you can get trapped into that or whatever, but even with strangers, being polite, let's say, that's kind of the question that always comes up for me is like, so obviously it is a objectively good thing to be authentic and true, but on the very high surface level, like where in a real life, like, or realistic scenario, like what is the boundary of like being like rude or something, like to like a friend of a friend that you just met, you know what I mean, like is where authenticity unarguably good, but so far out on the surface level, like when does it cause you to be rude, maybe, or is it okay to be like is politeness bullshit, like, you know?
That's actually like a core question I've been like grappling with, because I think my whole life up to this point, I've tried to be as polite and unoffensive as I possibly could, which has like prohibited me from like expressing myself or like saying things that I truly feel, but I just like I don't want to like offend someone.
Exactly.
But like you said, like you could be like on the other end of the spectrum, like Christian Bale in Batman. Like, everyone get the fuck out of my house. Like, I want to go to bed or whatever. We remember that scene.
He calls him a bunch of rich posers or something, right? And so, I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
But I don't know. Like lately, I've been sort of like thinking like you know, using the authenticity as like my guiding principle. Like, I don't think it's that bad to, like, in the right context, like to offend people and just like say what you mean, how you feel, because
it's not like you're going out of your way to offend. It's like, instead of bottling up something that's important to you that would be a weight off your chest to say, or further your growth as a person, to speak up and say, it's not like you're like just, hey, fuckface, or whatever. I don't know, like, you're not just being mean
like,
to someone, but
you see someone in public and you're like, that's a dumb fucking hat.
Yeah, that's maybe not necessary.
Hey, I'm being authentic.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking
That's what
about.
I feel to my core. That's a dumb fucking hat, but
is that like, so we can almost agree that's an example of not worth it, like that, you're not really gaining from that, but that's really not that far off.
But what if this person that's walking with a dumb fucking hat is like, hey, what do you think of my hat?
Now, if they ask you, that's a whole, that is how close it is. So, maybe you don't agree with me, but I still think that going out of your way to tell someone like, hey, your hat's stupid, probably not, like, there's not enough to be gained to personally to outweigh that. If someone asks you, that's already such a more complicated question now. Like, oh shit, okay, so now they want my opinion. Yeah, that's a much better example. So you're not just seeking someone out to like be rude, but someone asks you, what's the white lie they call it, or what, you know, like, what, where's the line for like making someone feel good?
And I think something like telling the truth is like a skill that it comes naturally for some people, but for many people it's a skill that you have to practice, and you have to like practice in many different situations, because like we talk about like the self-improvement like goal in life, always trying to improve yourself. You mentioned like this doomsday scenario when you want to rely on physical sciences. I think relying on your courage to tell the truth in the right context is like,
it's a skill.
But it's like such a important skill to feel confident to speak out on things, especially like stuff that's, I mean, going on right now. To be able to just like feel confidently to speak out about certain stuff that you find truthful. I don't know. So I don't know, we could like talk about that, the layers of it. all day.
Yeah.
But it's just something I found interesting trying to navigate. Who, as a person who's been like very reserved most of my life, and now I'm like, I want to share more of who I am. And in that process, like, learn about myself and other people. So that's like honestly like a big reason why I started this.
I think that's an objectively good core value. I think that's a great trajectory forward. And if you need like a sleep easy, quick 2-second resolution, I think that you could even say, okay, let's say I was doing this, like, being overly polite or whatever to make X person happy for all this time, blah, blah, blah. You switch to being more authentic and truthful. So you've improved, we got camera. You've improved self, but someone else's feelings were hurt. So it was a loss for them or whatever. But over time, if you do that enough, let's say it's a net even because you've worked on yourself and maybe, it's at the expense of other people's little feely feelings or whatever. Over time, though, if you do that enough, I think your authentic self continues to add more value to the lives of your loved ones. Like, it might sting one time for someone to hear something authentic, but then once you've built yourself up to be this more authentic person, I think just you're gonna have more to offer your relationships. So I think at the end of the day, it's a net positive, right? Like, every time you do that, you gain. Maybe someone takes a quote unquote like little loss or whatever, but the next time you talk to the same person, you have been improving yourself, so you can have more to offer your relationships. So even if in the moment it seems like a trade-off of like, oh, I'm doing better for me, but is it hurting other people? I think you can go to bed knowing that, like, in the long run, it's for sure going to be a net positive because you're letting yourself grow. So the next time you're interacting with that person, you haven't just plateaued as the same reserved person. You keep building yourself. You have more to offer society or each individual person that you're in relationships with. So I think at the end of the day, it is like the right thing to do, to be more authentic, even if there are little seeming like sad lost times for other people as you're making the transition. Net positive, I think. Like, I think it would almost impossible in the long run to not be a good thing.
Yeah. I agree. And something I'm still navigating. And the cool thing about like life and the opportunity to sort of like think through this stuff, which is like very rare in the animal kingdom.
Yeah. Potentially exclusive.
Potentially, yeah. We don't. We're not. To be determined.
Maybe dolphins, maybe ravens, but
a raccoon, maybe.
Them things are smart,
thumbs, man.
The thumbs.
Sounds are crazy. Yeah. But yeah, part of the like opportunity to think about some of the stuff, like, you can like adapt and change your mindset as life goes on, and that's how, like, I want to talk about like the biology of it. Like, that's how like humans were born like so underdeveloped to like be plastic, to change your neuroplasticity as you live, like, throughout your whole life. Like, we're intended to like continually like change.
Yeah.
Neurons, I don't know.
Yeah, epigenetics and neuroplasticity. Yeah.
Chem 3, baby.
Chem 3, baby. Yeah. You're programmed with some stuff that you get genetically, and then within the genetic code is a bunch of if and or code or whatever, where it's like, if this person is born into a hot environment, then this gene gets turned on, and this is this.
Crazy.
But if this person experiences high levels of cortisol from a stressful job or whatever, 100 days of cortisol turns on this one mRNA maker you're always like in one given life, evolving based on decisions that you make in your environment that isn't always your choice, but
crazy. Updating software.
Yeah, no, it's like it's like yeah, it's like it's all pre-written, but it's meant to change based on external factors.
Yeah. Shit. We're about like 30 minutes into this question. Um, I love it. I don't know, just like the elaboration of it, but I'd like to.
Time to pivot.
Yeah, I'd like to change topics eventually. I was lucky enough to have 20 Boy on the show yesterday, and he also gave really interesting answers, and something we talked about for a bit that I'd like to hear your opinion about is like the three of us had relatively similar childhoods in a lot of respects.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, like one notable difference that I'd like to ask you about is you guys going to a K through 8 Catholic private school, and I'd like to hear about your perspective about going to a private Catholic school, sort of your relationship to religion, spirituality, and how that's evolved over time.
Wow, what a great question. Great question. I feel like I have a lot of positive takeaways from having gone to K through 8 private Catholic school, but a lot of them aren't necessarily tied to it either it being private school or a Catholic school or the combination of the two. Like one is just small school, and with the same more or less same people for yada yada X amount of years. I have some friends that along with aforementioned 20 Boy and the guy sitting right here, like a couple of them actually will make up the rest of my bridal or not groom's party whatever, like the
I don't know.
Anyway, I gained some lifelong friends, but that I guess lends maybe just more to the private school aspect of just it being small, so that's like a positive, but it doesn't really have much to do with the school itself. Another one that I try and look at like super objectively. I feel like there were more hits than misses, like as far as like curriculum. Like I felt like but that could again just be a private school thing, or it might just be this. It's actually more likely just this particular one that I happen to go to. What I'm talking about is I felt like they had like really good like I was set up for high school really well with like they had good math and science and English and yada, a lot of just like the basic coursework stuff. I didn't go to both schools, so I can't necessarily say. I just feel like they were really good, but there was also downsides, like the public school system where I'm from. I know that using technology was like much like the curriculums were, I don't know if they're necessarily good, but they're just much better at like public schools in the areas like you're working with. You're getting experience like learning how to like type on a keyboard or like use like basic softwares and things like that. So like the school that I went to happened to like be great and all the like I was learning Spanish, let's say, I got like 6-7 extra years of like intro to Spanish, where a lot of people don't get foreign language until maybe middle school or high school or whatever. So like some things are great, some things just happen to not be as good. I know for a fact that like entering high school and like any class that involved using like basic like Microsoft like PowerPoint, Word, but like just programs that everyone like uses today, like I know that I was behind on that. So long story short, I think overall there were more good things curriculum wise than not, but again, that is just probably that very particular school. So I haven't answered probably anything important yet about the difference between the two, but I guess that's kind of actually what I really have to offer. I nothing super amazing or bad came out of it that way. So I just have like a really like feels like unemotional like analysis of like, oh, it worked out pretty well for me. Like I could totally see my if I have kids, them going to a private school or a public school, like just for that reason. Like it's just like, oh, the curriculum happened to be good there. Maybe at a private school in Michigan or wherever I live at the time, maybe it won't. It'll seem bad. More importantly, though, they did part of going there. Is going to like religious services, and then at least one of the classes, like you have dedicated Spanish. You also get like religion class. So that's something that would be different. You learn about whatever, it was a Catholic school, so you learn about like that denomination's literature and stories, and you watch like, animated like Jesus, surfs and teaches lessons videos and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy. No huge issue with it, I guess. Yeah, that's a I guess we could probably talk a lot about like I don't know if it is an indoctrination where like you basically religion is more of like a choice thing. So it's like, oh, is it like fair to like teach someone when they're too young to decide? I don't know. I didn't really feel that pressure. I just before I ramble too long, let me answer probably the more meaty part of your question is about the evolution of how I feel about religion. I don't. I have grown since then. In Catholic private school as a child, never gave it much thought. In my more formative years and then adult life, I think I've just kind of strayed away from organized religion in general, with no particular strong distaste or vendetta towards any particular religion. Just more based on the idea of like, oh, like these core principles, I think in a modern age can be taught without like symbolism and trickery or like fear of you know what I mean? Like it's, you don't have to frame like be good to thy neighbor like with some sort of parable or like metaphoric story. Like core values of all the religions are good. Why the need for tiny little differences and fighting over that, blah blah blah. That's kind of what has led me astray from organized religion. And then also that the good things that are in all of them can very easily be extracted out and just taught as their own, like philosophically or whatever. So I guess maybe I'm, as far as how I concern my religious beliefs, maybe like agnostic. Is that like hopeful of some higher power? I genuinely just like, I think it's almost more fun to think that there's something more than lights out, but I don't like strongly believe that there is necessarily. I literally just from like a fantasy sci-fi reader, like just like think it's more fun to believe that. And like if you're not, like I don't let it like really affect my actions. More about what we previously talked about. I try and like let the like do not murder, the core principles, I try and just treat them separately and live my life based on that. The whole higher power thing is just kind of like its own subset thing. It doesn't really drive my decisions too much, like or really at all. It's just I happen to think it would be fun to think there's something else, something spiritual, and then you can say that, back to our first thing about like doing intrinsic good, like if there really were some sort of like consequence thing after you live your life, like there is some sort of like reward or punishment, or like how could you, if you're doing the whole like try and be better every day, do things that help the earth or help people that you care about, blah blah blah, like if you do that, how could you possibly be in the wrong if there was some bearded guy in this guy? I don't know. So I treat them separately, but like to think that I try not to let anything religious or spiritual actually drive anything. But I, on like a unrelated, I like to think that regardless, I'm doing what a lot of the religions were put in place to try and like get people to do, like do good thing, be good or whatever.
All right, I'm trying to unpack some stuff. So, interesting thing about Tony's answer. He also mentioned the. I'm paraphrasing, like the brotherhood, like make like he still is like really close with a lot of people in his class, which and you mentioned the same thing, which I think is interesting because I don't think I keep in contact with anyone from my K through 8 and only like 1 or 2 people from high school.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you like want to talk a little bit more about just like the feeling of connectedness that you might have achieved as a result of whether it's the private school or a religious component, but why do you still feel drawn to this group of people?
I hate what I actually think the answer is. I hate it to my core, and I actually think a lot about it, but I think it just happens to be like proximity, and you know what I mean. It's just like my fiance and I
Megan, you say Megan.
Well, I don't know who the audience for this is.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. this could blow the fuck up, these podcasts. Megan and I have some good conversations. I actually early on was like really like a fairy tale idealist or something. Like, what do you mean there's no true love or like what? But like realistically, like real life, like love is real. You know, I think we both think, but like. Oh, what are the odds that like people find the person that they're meant to be with the rest of their life? Like statistically, if there was one person, you'd never find them. Blah blah blah. So that.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh no, I mean I was gonna. One thought that came to my head was just like how much the idea and concept of love is cultural and influenced by media, movies, and commercials.
Damn, those
TV shows.
Suckers at Hallmarks.
Yeah, the fucking
Hallmark.
What's that ring company called? They always had the cute commercials though.
I know. Every kiss begins with K. That one.
Yeah, no.
It's different than the fairy tale kind. But before I tangent too much, I just meant that like you are with the same people for more years than if you do a public school system that's split by district, where it's like, oh, well, you're together for middle school, but you went to separate, like there's 8 elementary schools in the city that narrow into 3 middle schools that make 1 high school, blah, 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 blah. So just proximity, just you have more time and space to build relationships with these people. It's the same with like my best friends from college, like 90% of them, we were all on the same floor of a dorm, so it's like those are some like I love those people with all my heart, but I don't like thinking about the realistic, like what I think is the truth of like, oh, like you met them and found things in common and had the proximity that allowed you to like build your relationships, because I've made other friends that you don't have the proximity with, but just the odds are higher that if you are in the same dorm with people, like you have a better chance of like those being your college friends. So it's like, yeah, my friends from K.
It's a creepy toy.
Creepy toy. My friends from K through 8 is just like oh, like there's something special about, but it really is just like, no, I think it's just if you put a bunch of kids in the same small class of 30 for like 8 years, like there's just a higher chance that you build like super strong relationships. Same with how I met my college friends, or how a lot of people find their person that they do love and spend the rest of their life with. It's like, well, it's a friend of a friend, right. Or like it's just more of a happens to be than anything that the school itself offered or anything like that.
Yeah. I want to talk about another thing you said when I asked about your relationship with religion and spirituality. You mentioned something that like you have this correct me if I'm wrong, but how I heard you say it was like you have this inherent like desire to believe that it's not lights out at the end. Like it's like this what it sounded to me is like there's like you still have like a pretty strong faith like component value going on, which I think is interesting with how rigorous and scientific your mind thinks. And I'm just curious, like, if there's ever like any like conflicting or
great question,
like how do you reconcile with with those two things?
I think more than the lights out thing, actually. I'm totally okay with that. I can more than accept that's what happens when a brain ceases to be a working brain or whatever. That's. I think the even bigger one is actually the whole meaning of the thing we were talking about before. Like, I like to think that there's some meaning to life. I operate with the assumption that there's not. So just all you can do is improve yourself, improve your relationships, go with the gut morals of like, okay, for sure when you're mad at someone, you can't just like hit them with a baseball bat, like just that sort of thing. So the what I was saying, I like to think that there's, I like to think there's some fun, like, oh, like you die and then you're like, what your mind was hops on a rainbow and goes to Leprechaun Land, whatever. That's fun. But more importantly, with the desire to believe in something, it's a desire to believe that there's some sort of like meaning to the life part, not the after. But anyway, as far as I think that scientifically that's why I say it's fun. It's all just, it's more fun to believe, but it's you equally can't, it's something that can't even be explored or experimented on. Like, that's the problem, quote unquote. It's just like, it's just fun. There's nothing, I don't let it conflict, because it's like we're talking about things that by their definition you can't prove, which I don't know. But let me give you this. When I say higher power, for me, that can be so much more sci-fi than fantasy, right? So for me, that could mean that, like, I don't know if you watch like all the alien movies that keep making, or like Prometheus or something, but like, we've discovered through science that in like igneous porous rock or whatever, there's like multicellular, like relatively large microscopic organisms that could survive in this rock that's super insulatory from heat. So if you if you put them in 1 inch deep into this porous rock and then simulate like the heat of that rock coming through the atmosphere as like I don't remember, meteor, asteroid, whatever it's called when it burns through, that they have a plus or minus like 100 degrees Celsius hotter that it could have gotten, and they would have been totally fine in their little 1 inch into that pore of this rock. So anyway, for me, higher power could literally be that like 10,000 years ago, and this again, this wouldn't be having to do anything with humans. It would be more about organic life in general. But like that 10 million years ago, don't quote me on how old organic life is or whatever. Yeah. The leading, this is like, I believe the second or third leading most theory for how there is life on Earth, with the foremost being that at the right time, heat in the form of lightning struck a pool of water, which caused a heat requiring reaction to bind carbon with oxygen, nitrogen, blah, blah. It made the first thing that evolved into the first cell, which made life, blah, 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 blah. If that's the leading theory, second or third is that it came from far away, like organic life came from far away space in a rock where it was able to survive coming through the atmosphere at the right time. So anyway, for me, this higher power that I like to think is real is more, it doesn't have to be some sort of like fucking Gandalf and Lord of the, it can be a smarter intelligence that, let's say, 10 million years ago,
Yeah, I see what
on
you're saying.
purpose sent a rock through the like. So for me, that there's a type 4 society or something that can travel through the stars or whatever, that like every once in a while like comes within whatever their telescopic technology is and looks down on us and goes like, oh, fucking humans, or just to think that there's something that we have no idea about, like that cares about us or something. That to me can equally be just something. I just like to believe that there's something fun out there that we'll never discover in our short lifetimes. But that's it. Just it could be if we're a type 0 society that still burns fucking coal for warmth and energy. Type 4 society harnesses the power of suns, basically, of other galaxies' suns. I think if there's a society like that, what at that point is the difference between that and a god compared to where we're at, you know? So that could be my god, is like a alien race or something.
That's a interesting way to answer that question by saying you lean on your faith with science.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's cool. I mean, like, everything you just were talking about is like completely plausible.
Yeah, that's
me.
all
Like,
I mean. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That sort of like resonates more with me than like what religion has historically
like
been
omnipotent
preached.
beings or whatever. Yeah, you know.
They're in the clouds or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's interesting.
But see, then again, well, that like in the clouds is funny because clouds we can see with our naked eyes. So of course, when they're writing this so long ago, but like now we know through math and science that there are like parallel universes and alternate dimensions. So it's like, maybe, what if in one of those dimensions there is a version of you that is in charge of all the other versions of you? Like that is God to me. Like something through math and science that maybe 10,000 years if humans are still around, like they're knocking on the door of like, science is religion now. Like we're like talking to things in other dimensions, like fucking Cthulhu out of the void. Like
it's crazy, like how much science and knowledge has progressed in such a short amount of time. So it's plausible within 50, 100 years, 1,000 years. Who knows what the hell we're gonna discover? Exactly.
That things,
if we're still here,
things that were impossible 100 years ago are laughable technology now. Like laughable. Like how far, like how, you know. So you never know.
And I don't know. I've had like thoughts like this a lot, and always reminds me of the South Park episode where in the future they're all atheists, but they
the two sects of atheism.
They're still sects of atheism, and they still fight.
At that point, it's human nature. I think that's what they're saying, is that no matter what, you always use belief as an excuse to kill people in the name of something else that you're probably after, whether it's oil or fucking
whatever.
Your whatever resource you want.
Ugh,
terrible, just terrible.
Anyway, that's a great answer. I appreciate these thoughtful responses. I'd like to change topics. Similar question to what I asked Anthony yesterday. Like I hate like going to a party or like a social gathering where you don't know people and you're like making the small talk, and like the question always gets asked, like, what do you do? What do you do? Like I just like don't I just think we're so much more than like the identity of like whatever job that you've like found yourself to do to make a living. But one thing I find interesting is how people, so like not necessarily their job or what they do, but like how they became in whatever position that they're in. I just find that interesting when like in the States, people, there's like hundreds of majors, there's hundreds of trades, there's like the possibilities of like whatever you could do is like really endless. I'm curious, as a 18-year-old kid going to Santa Barbara, you chose biology, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. Started studying that, and then just like curious about what that process was like. Was it easy? Was that something that came naturally to you? Did you feel comfortable like continuing to study that throughout your time there, and sort of like your post grad
Yeah.
job pursuits? And I'm just curious about if you want to speak about that.
Great question. Yeah. I've always liked plants and animals and uh, little little critters, big and small and stuff. And I always I don't know, the older I got, I was entranced with, almost on a religious level, like what is the driving force of life. And from a scientific approach, all you can do is get smaller and smaller and smaller until you're like looking at molecules, and then like chemicals, and then elements, atoms down the
Right.
down the line. And I want to learn as much as I can, I guess, about life. So if like, if you, everyone needs a job, right? That's how our society works. I could not be with you more on like,
What
boy,
do
I
you
like to
do?
think we're more than, what do you do? Boy, I like to think we're more than a job. But I just figured, you have to see that to survive, you have to have some sort of income, blah, blah, blah. So like, if I'm going to study something and like try and pursue a career,
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to like almost most of my life that I could think of know that at least some kind of like life science was something I wanted to get into. Biology, because I care the most about like the bobies of the world, like
Bogies.
animals, maybe, let's say, and stuff. But I think the other part of it is, between you and I and the many fans of the
Millions,
pod,
yeah.
the millions that are gonna be listening to this, like I said before, I feel kind of fraudulent sometimes, but I never feel too bad, because at the core of my heart, like, I really don't like working. Like, if I didn't have to work, I wouldn't. I'm not. I know there's some people that do like what happens to be their job also. Excuse me, something that like they would do on their own, or like that if you didn't have a job where like, the lab with the equipment, like you couldn't do it without like so they care so much about what they do. Good for them. I personally just would not work if I didn't have to, but at least I get to work at something that I, you know, kind of like. But anyway, as far as the schooling goes, yeah. So I've always wanted to like feel smart, kind of, more than maybe I actually am. So when you get into biology, you like, I could do like, things that you could see with the work with things that you see with the naked eye, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what I care about most. But like, what seems harder for me, I guess, correlated to like, being more challenging and needing to be more quote unquote like smart to understand. So then like you go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, like organ, and then tissue, and then like you need to study the molecules that make up these tissues, then down, to chemicals that react to make these molecules, and then the elements themselves and the atoms, blah blah blah. So you dive further and further, then you get kind of like, I shifted from biology to like more chemistry, but then also driven by like, other than like working at a zoo or whatever, like what, or being like the top 4 or 5 people that study the elephant, like what can you do with large organisms. So there's more that to be discovered the smaller you go. So shifted from biology to biochemistry to like trying to learn more about chemistry. And then I feel like the edge of my, like what I can wrap my head around in an academic sense, kind of ends at like physical chemistry, and then physics. Like my friends that were like physics majors or math majors, I'm like, it's not everyone's. It's not. There's there's so many ways to be smart, but the way I'm wired, I'm just like, those guys are smarter than me. My line is drawn at like, I can barely honestly grasp chemistry. Like it's just like, so yeah, no, to what you're saying, a lot of what I've done is driven to just be like, well, I want to be employed, and I want to feel smart, honestly. Like I just like, it's maybe not the best driver. It's like, I don't care enough to like, if I were like some sort of lottery winner, don't play the lottery, it's a scam. But you know what I mean? Like if I'd never had to work again, I probably, like, would I even ever read anything about chemistry ever again? I don't actually know. I just, it's like I've always been setting myself up for being at a party and being, what do you do? I just want to feel, I guess, smart. I don't know.
Mm.
When someone asks me that, I want to say something that I think is cool, and I've always thought science is cool. Yeah, that might not be a good driver for how you set like the whole meaning for your life or like your one line at a party. But yeah, that's a great fucking question.
I don't know. I mean,
that's a driver.
Well, I just want to say appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
Feel like,
man.
What? No, I feel
no,
like
no, I'm kind of learning about myself through this too. It's like I don't know what I would do if A, it weren't about employment, or B, at some level it weren't about like what I want other people to think of. What do you do? Like that may have driven a lot more of my life than I wish it had, you know?
Yeah,
I like
no,
art. I like fucking art too. Like, you know, I like drawing. Like,
he's a great illustrator.
Why didn't I do that? Like,
no, I'm curious though. Like, you touched on a few very interesting sentiments that I think are very common and widespread across many people that I know. But I'd like to know. You mentioned a couple times you feel fraudulent sometimes, and like maybe have this imposter syndrome. Something I've struggled with, and I'm curious why. Like, you're my cousin Vinny. I think you're the smartest person I know. Why do you like to hear you like second guess your intelligence is like honestly a little shocking to me. I'm curious, like, why do you think like the fraudulent imposter syndrome comes from, and why the second part of the question is why do you think you want to be perceived as intelligent? Like, that's like something that you've noticed, but I think you're very intelligent. I don't know why you'd have to feel like that.
It's a great question. I don't know. I guess it's like effort based or something, like and passion based. So it's like, to be really good at something, like I kind of wish sometimes I were more of like a true expert on something, or like critical, like where I work or something, like, oh, this is the guy for this is the guy for that,
like a specialist or generalist kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I just don't feel that I don't, it's hard to describe. Like, I don't, I remember what I remember from undergrad. I don't have a like graduate degree, so there's that level of like that's a certificate that says you did this much extra book learning. That's stuff that you could read on your own. I guess I just don't find myself like studying enough. Like, that's not how I use my free time. But in result, you know, I work in a field where it's like, it's hard to describe. I guess I don't feel like a true expert of any particular science, and I don't know if the drive or the effort there is necessarily, like, I don't look at any two given molecules, let's say, and like in my head know how they're going to react. So maybe there's just some invisible line in my head that like I know through effort and drive I could get to, but I can also live the rest of my life kind of like just learning as I go, little by little on the job, to stay employed and get to still tell people when they ask me like, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm a chemist. But like if someone much more, like a much better chemist than I, sat down with me and like started asking me, you know, this question or that, I feel nervous that I would just be exposed as fraudulent. It's like, oh no, like I got my job, like fake it till you make it, said what I'm good at, I can sell myself well, and then when I sit down and realize more about what they do, whatever particular place I work, like I try and make sure I read up on relevant stuff and just offer something like to be a great be a good employee or whatever. But yeah, at the end of the day, maybe I don't push myself enough to actually in my head reach whatever this invisible bar is to feel like a confident chemist or something. Like, so I get to tell people that aren't chemists, like, oh, what do you do? Oh, chemist. But I don't know, in real life I feel like there's so much more to know that I just don't, and I don't know if there's really the effort or the drive there to learn it. I think that's the whole thing about intelligence, quote unquote. It's like, it's not just inherent. It's like you have to work at it. Like, some people that may naturally be good at something, someone that's just maybe a little bit less naturally, just a fraction less naturally, quote unquote, good at it, they put in tons more effort, they're way better and way smarter at it. So I don't know. I'm rambling again, but
well, I'd like to say I think you're a great chemist, and everything I know about you, I think you are a subject matter expert in your field. I'm sure like, you're more than qualified and very competent to do your work. And I would argue that the feeling of like this inherent like belief that you're not enough of a chemist or whatever, I think that belief has nothing to do with chemistry or your intelligence. I alluded to I've struggled with imposter syndrome my whole life.
Yeah.
My theory why I think I have struggled with it is because I think, and this isn't to like blame anyone or like
sure.
It's just like I'm about to turn 30 and I'm like trying to make sense of my upbringing, like how I've,
yeah, of course,
without pointing any fingers or anything.
No,
but
everyone's a product of everyone tried as best as they could, but no one gets it perfect. Like, I'll fuck up my kids, just hopefully less than. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
All right, so one thing I think is because I got like a lot of external validation as a kid, like through my grades, like you did like good job on your report card, or like in sports, like good job getting a base hit or something,
right?
Instead of like feeling like I was enough for just like being who I am.
Right. Where does that come from as an adult,
Yeah, so like I think like I struggle with the same thing as an economist. Like I should be reading more, I should be reading academic journals and like reading the news and like like when people ask me for my opinions on at work about stuff, like I'll say it, and I'm sure like educated and competent
enough
but there's always this belief that it's like there's always like something I could be doing more.
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better. That's what it is feeling like. It could be a disease, a malady of the brain, right? Like it maybe no matter what I do, like hopefully, maybe no matter what I do, I would always feel like that if I was just kept trying to not feel like that by reading more and blah, 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 blah. But actually the only way to not feel that way is it's actually like something like that you do with a therapist. Like it has nothing to do with how you think you need to fix it. Right. It's an unrelated brain chemistry thing about like you feel that way because of like ingrained like how you're
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that could be it. I don't know. I just the other part is why do I seek that? And I couldn't tell you. I want people to think I'm smart, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, just like you probably pretty healthy not to care too much about what others think, but I guess it's, if you want to, yeah, it's all about validation. If you want to see yourself as a certain kind of person, you say, oh, I want other people to think of that too, but maybe it's just, oh, that's a good source of validation, so I can consider myself that. Is if other people say like, oh, you're so good at this, or you're so smart, it's maybe not necessarily inherently that you want them to think that. It's just like that. Where else are you gonna get this validation to finally convince yourself that you are? Yeah, maybe it does tie to the imposter syndrome or something. Maybe it's just a seeking a validation or something. But I guess I do. Yeah, I don't know. Because I do care too much about how I'm perceived by others. I don't know. But is that important?
I don't know.
Is that
I don't know.
yeah? Is like
I
what
don't know.
are you? How much more are you than what every other single being knows? Like you can tell yourself you're fucking Spider-Man. You know, it doesn't mean you're Spider-Man. But if like millions of other people are like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man, you might be Spider-Man. So we both know that it's much more important to know who you are and be secure with it. But on a side note, aside from being trapped in your own mind of like telling yourself whatever the fuck you are, Superman, Spider-Man, are you literally just what every other single being other than yourself perceives? Like, because you can think everything I do is good, but if that's one opinion versus how many people are there now? Like 8 billion. If eight other billion people knew your acts and said, "Oh, that's a bad guy," just because you truly believe you're a good guy, are you? If 7.99999 billion people that aren't you said the exact opposite, will you truly know yourself to be? Are you that, or are you what just on paper, mathematically 90? You know what I mean? Like, I know what's more important is what you think of yourself, not what other people think of you. But are you not what you actually put out in the world versus what you just think in your head, I guess?
I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I mean, though, by like, we both know the right thing is like, be true to yourself. Like, don't worry too much about what others think. But like,
Humans
is that
social.
important? Yeah. Is it important what other people think?
These are the
hard-hitting questions of the pod.
Yeah, we don't need an answer.
Something to reflect on for the listeners,
I guess. Are you good? You need a bathroom break right now?
I do. Yeah. I need to pee really badly. Intermission.
Yeah. Oh, that's in the wrong button. Yeah, we just took a commercial break. Shout out DraftKings.
Shout out DraftKings. Took a little Bobby break.
Yeah, a little Bobby break. And yeah, it's been real fun to chat with you. I feel like I'm learning a lot about you and a lot about myself, which is like the whole goal of this. So I want to say I appreciate your time.
I appreciate being on. I was just saying off the mic, all my super heartfelt, appreciative things about my cousin here. But no, you're one of the most thoughtful, deeply thoughtful people I know. I always want to know what you're thinking. I was saying, I know it's the point, like you said, it's a podcast talk, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I talk too much. But boy, have I relished hearing your answers to some of these big questions, whether they were ones that you originally wanted to ask or just ones that came up organically through us discussing. But I this was a great idea. I'm really happy that you did this, and I keep doing it with more people.
Yeah,
and
I appreciate it.
Yeah, what a good way to learn about yourself through listening to other people blab. But this is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And I'd love to keep doing this with other people, but also I'd love to do this like every so often and watch them back over time. That'd be awesome to sort of see. For
those of the listeners that don't know, as adult life does to many, Brandon and I are geographically a lot farther apart than we've ever been, in our lives. I live all the way out in Michigan, and it's tough. Like you want to have fun, like we love playing Super Smash together or whatever, but like other than just laughing and just like using our time to just like have pure like endorphin induced, and in that case adrenaline induced, like just like pure fun, screaming, laughing, but like it's hard to find time, or when would we ever take the time to really sit down and, not that this is unfun, but to do something that just isn't pure like crack style fun, like pickleball or like have real conversations, like when we play Fortnite online sometimes or whatever, but like you gotta focus on the game a little bit, you gotta do call outs, when else would we really ever have the opportunity to like talk to this? So we should do check-ins. Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'll prepare better questions to ask you for the next one. Yeah, you focus on other people. I'll be in charge of making sure that we do this again between you and I. I'm trying to get some material thought of ahead of time. No, just let it flow. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but we're just I think we could like talk for hours, but we're sort of hitting a inflection point. We got some pickleball we need to pickle. So we're starting to wrap up, but the question I've been ending on, because so far with the first two, I'd like to, we've talked a lot about some like childhood stuff and like the evolution of you as a person into adulthood, and I'm just curious, like looking in further into the future, what's something that you're optimistic about or excited about, could be personally, socially, societally, and I'd just like to hear about that. It's a great question. Wow. I guess I'm excited for more for discovery. I know that with the Industrial Revolution we grow exponentially and say, we have this is humanity. We've hit the pinnacle, and
Yeah.
then the digital age comes along and says, haha, now that everything has been digitized, like, this is the pinnacle of humanity. Like, now we're living in, like, how time will be for the rest of time. Like, no, it never is. I can't wait until we're, knocking on the door of other dimensions, or we finally get to meet that, type 4 society of aliens that is more or less, like, depending on how you define a god, like gods compared to us, or like some sort of demigod compared to like how we perceive the universe. And I don't know, I don't like thinking about being like really old, because I guess no one wants to be old. And but we just farted.
I think you just farted.
God damn it.
Oh, no. I think the mic caught it.
Cut that out in post. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for that next level of human thinking that will just blow out of the water the current way that we live in lives and understand the universe. So
what I don't know how what sort of discovery that you think is like monumental paradigm shift that's within reach in our lifetime that you're excited about, like consciousness or
I think
extraterrestrial?
I think it's something that we do have in our control. I think it's got to be related to something environmental, or in the field of sustainability, that like we didn't, like, we fixed the ozone, right? Like, we're good now, like more or less, like through
they just changed the chemical in the spraying bottles, right?
no more polyfluorocarbons or whatever the hell.
Like that.
But anyway, I think we have proven that a few things, where even like, so if you have like climate change deniers or whatever, like maybe they're lost causes, but even within like the scientific community that says like, shoot, like, are these processes fixable, even if like we all accept that there are problems and like, put efforts towards them. I think we've in my lifetime made tangible improvements, and like basically like I think that's a real example, like concerning like a gaping hole forming in the ozone layer, that we've set it on a path of like a sustainable path or something. So basically we can make like tangible change in our lifetimes, and I want to see us like, maybe get away completely from fossil fuel. So like, if in my lifetime we could be a type 1 society, I think that means that you rely on, like, you can power your entire like society on like geothermal, hydro, wind, and solar power. If we could, like, just being able to, not like necessarily like we'll still like Will Smith in that iRobot movie, like, you still like can have a car for fun, or like doesn't, like, that we don't even have to necessarily get rid of all the fuel, but actually to, in my lifetime, be at a point where you can actually, like, if the gods are watching, they could stamp us like type 1, like oh, they could, if they needed and wanted to enough, survive off the infrastructure, like of the energy that already exists in the world, like repurposing it versus having to rely on a finite random thing that we found can make steam and power engines and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I think that's one that we could maybe see by the time if we live to be like 80, 90 or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Let's literally level up. It's there's look it up. It's like a type 0 to type 4, like the levels of society. Like, I think interstellar travel makes you type 2. or maybe it's all power based. Maybe it's purely or being able to harness the power of not just your sun, but to get power from a different sun. And then, yeah, I don't know. You look into it. I'm just saying, I think we might like be able to level up in our lifetime, which would be insane.
Yeah.
We'd go from, like, we're no, like, on this scale, we're no different than, like, Homo erectus or Neanderthal or the oldest Homo sapiens or, like,
yeah.
On this scale, we're still that. So, like, but, like, we could, like, see the level up if we try hard enough. So,
yeah.
that would be cool.
That'd be really cool. As you're wearing your Rick and Morty Christmas sweater.
What up? You Rick.
I'm a pickle Rick. Yeah. What about a little short-term optimism within the next 3-5 years?
Tits. I don't have too much optimism for that time. That's a good question. I pass. What's yours?
Short term. I wasn't even thinking like that. Okay.
Will you have a long term one?
I don't know, like to understand the just consciousness a little more by the time I'm dead would be really cool. Mm-hmm. It's just like such a mystery. Like,
right.
The thing I find interesting about it is like how many smart people and monies have been invested into just trying to understand a little bit about it. And it's just like, in a lot of ways, like a complete mystery.
In all fairness to religious fanatics, let's say, like between you and I know your very rightful skepticisms, but in all fairness to them, like, what in this world with like such otherwise seemingly perfectly balanced nature, like why consciousness on one particular like, you know what I'm saying? So for them to feel like that we're special or like that, you know what I mean? Like inherently, like in their defense, like, yeah, that's how much of a mystery it still is despite all the power of science. Like why consciousness? Why are we sitting here having a pod? Like, so in their defense, it's a little bit of a self-centered, like reductive, reactionary, like response to say it's like, it's because I'm special. Like that's why. But in their defense, we don't know why. So, you know, that's that is nuts.
Yeah.
I look forward to that as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know, I'm down to pickle. Are you down to pickle?
Let's go play some pickle.
Yeah,
before it pours rain.
Play some pickle. Just want to say thanks so much for your time. Thanks to Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
I appreciate you so much for doing this. Honestly, I've really enjoyed it, and yeah,
Happy to
had
be
a blast.
Here. Me too.
Love you, man.
Love you, brother.
Yeah, that's it. We're gonna go pickle. So, thanks for tuning.
Love you all. Thanks for tuning.